You may not know this, but a revolutionary energy project is taking place in Cornwall.
We will save at least 70 tonnes of carbon a year.
We like the idea of being able to generate here and use it locally.
We've got to future-proof ourselves with the environmental problems that we've got.
This is a way to let local people become more self-sufficient and to contribute to that.
We're here in Cornwall, located in the westernmost part of the Southwest Peninsula in Britain, where a pioneering energy project is taking place. It's home to a £19 million trial, which is providing homes and businesses with a virtual marketplace where they can sell and buy energy and flexibility to and from the grid, as well as the wholesale energy market. But why Cornwall? That's because the very sunny and windy weather has prompted a widespread uptake of renewables, particularly solar and wind power. While this is positive for the environment, it has caused problems for the local grid. And it often means renewable energy assets aren't reaching maximum performance because much of the generation is switched off during the day as there is no immediate demand. That's where the local energy market comes in. Technologies like battery storage helps reduce the strain on the grid at peak times, and this pilot scheme allows a large amount of renewables onto the grid, cutting carbon emissions from other forms of generation such as fossil fuels. This project is being run by energy giant Centrica and part funded by the European Regional Development Fund. Mark Futian, Director of the Distributed Power Systems at Centrica, explains the significance of the project.
We have a marketplace where buyers and sellers of flexibility can come together, and that's really important because it enables customers to participate and gives them a source of revenue that they can access. It's a good opportunity for them, and it helps solve the system's problems and lets everybody get involved in solving their challenges. Hugely important as we become lower carbon, so we decarbonise the system. We're getting lots of intermittency. We have to have that flexibility in the system to keep things balanced, and this is a way to let local people become more self-sufficient and to contribute to that.
The financial savings and a desire to support the low-carbon transition were two of the drivers that got the Kaabas Bay Hotel and Estate in St Ives to take part in the Cornwall local energy market. Dan Alistair from the hotel also said the local grid issues, as well as the expansion of the site, which includes new luxury beachside lodges and self-catering accommodation, meant the luxury hotel's energy centre needed an upgrade.
Certainly in the local area here in Cornwall, the spikes in the electricity market, the power cuts, the grid issues were starting to affect the hotel and starting to affect our guest experience. So we were looking for something more consistent. Also, the hotel with its age, energy centres within the hotel, so boiler units servicing different parts of the hotel as we bolted on new rooms and extended the hotel, we needed to find a more consistent energy solution and centralise that so that we had lower maintenance costs, more centralisation, and obviously our big sustainability policy here on the estate is very important.
The Kaabas Bay Hotel and Estate, which spans across 125 acres, overlooking its stunning privately owned Blue Flag Beach, now has two combined heat and power plant units with a total capacity of 70 kilowatts. They will ultimately power everything across the coastal retreats estate, provide hot water to every guest bedroom, as well as heat the hot tubs and swimming pools. And the hotel is expecting some hot savings.
It's very early days for us, but we're certainly estimating at least £30,000 a year on our energy costs, on our purchase of our energy. We will save at least 70 tonnes of carbon a year output from our old boiler systems and our old energy usage. So two huge benefits already, and obviously that's year one. We're hoping to see improved benefits as the years go by. So one of the other appeals obviously is the benefit that when we realise what our maximum use is from the 2 CHP units, we will have energy then to provide back onto the grid to help sustain the grid, and obviously if more companies get involved in that, then the grid can balance more efficiently generally for the whole Cornwall area.
The Kaabas Bay Hotel isn't alone. There are around 100 homes across Cornwall that are taking part in this project. Solar panels and battery storage technologies that have been installed are aggregated to form a block of flexibility that will feed into the local energy market. David, a long-time environmentalist, and his wife Anna are one couple involved in the scheme. Living in Bodmin Moor, an hour's drive from the city of Truro, they had already installed 2 solar arrays, one on the roof of the main house and the other on Anna's studio in the garden, and were an early adopter of the now redundant feed-in tariff scheme to save money. So when the chance to join the Energy Pilot scheme came up, David was keen.
I had the opportunity to join the Cornwall local energy market. Very happy that I was one of the fortunate ones to be chosen for it. The battery was installed in January. It's nearly 10 kilowatt battery. That is linked to the internet, so the whole project can be monitored, the generation consumption can be monitored. And then actually a little bit before that I'd bought an electric car. And I suppose my ambition would be that they could all be combined so that I end up with some sort of vehicle-to-grid, vehicle-home-to-home system.
That may be his future plans, but right now, the local energy market gives him the information needed on their home's energy consumption to ultimately make savings.
Yes, you get a state of charge and you can see via the peaks and troughs on the graph how much energy has been consumed and how fast the battery is draining and so on and so forth, yeah.
And would you say that has encouraged you to maybe reduce your energy use, and obviously that's going to have an impact on your bills? Is that something you consider?
Well, we've always been as frugal as we can, so we've always used economy 7 to the maximum, by time switches and this, that and the other. But my slightly longer term aim is when the project is over, at some stage, what I might try and do is to get the battery powered up via economy 7, so that on days when the sun isn't, obviously in the evening it isn't, so on economy 7 to have the battery charged up via that means. And then you'd have a full battery at the start of the day, and the battery would therefore be used to supply energy when it's at its most expensive on the economy 7 scheme.
The technologies installed in around 150 homes and businesses have been connected to the local energy market's online platform. But how does it work? During the summer, when there is excess renewable generation from sources like solar panels and limited demand during the day, the network generates much more than it uses. Centrica's online platform sends a price signal to a business with installed flexible technologies like battery storage, which stores the excess energy and helps reduce the overload on the system. And when demand increases during the evening, a price signal indicates the need to discharge the energy to the market. This allows the addition of more renewables to be connected without the need for costly upgrades to the network by local network operator Western Power Distribution.
When there is high amounts of renewables on the network, people can then be incentivised to use more at those times. So here, you're middle of summer, every single substation has as much generation flowing back up it as it can handle. This is where WPD would go on and place a bid for somebody to start using more at that time. In the summer months, you're more likely to get paid to use it at certain times. So it's just about shifting patterns to when there is renewables on the network, which ultimately allows more renewables to enter the network and WPD to offer more connections to renewables, knowing that they can create the extra demand when they need to.
During the winter, the situation is reversed. There is excess demand and less generation. As a result, a generation asset like a combined heat and power plant responds to a price signal from the local energy market and is paid for providing the power for local generation. And one business that likes the idea of generating and consuming energy locally and eventually trading the power is the Old House in Wadebridge. Located on a 550-acre working farm in the pretty village of Chapel Amble and surrounded by the beautiful countryside, the holiday cottage previously installed a 250 kilowatt ground-mounted solar array. It feeds into the holiday site and powers all of the 28 self-catering cottages and swimming pool, and also has a biomass boiler which provides heat to some of the cottages and the swimming pool. It has now installed 6 red tea energy storage units at the farm as part of the pilot project, which will help improve the use of the on-site solar array. The farm is expected to save up to 50% on energy costs by eliminating the need for expensive grid imports while also generating revenues.
For us, we like the idea of being able to generate here and use it locally. So local businesses and households can use our generated electricity, but in the local area. I think initially we expected just to generate our own electricity. That's what our first thought was, generate our own electricity for ourselves to use on the farm. But now as we get into this trial with Centrica, it looks like we will be able to export a lot of this and local people will be able to use our generated electricity, and we can benefit, one, from exporting that to them, and also the financial side of things to help our business grow.
Apart from the local generation, he says the scheme is starting to show financial returns.
In the next few months we're starting to see the benefits. Yes, they are very small at the minute, but as the system moves on, I think we're going to see big savings on our electricity. And then as we go into the trading side of things, the financial side will then eventually come on us being able to trade that electricity with Red Tea and Centrica. I think it's something that we're really looking forward to.
So with the technologies installed in homes and businesses across Cornwall and the system up and running, what is the ultimate aim?
So the ultimate aim is to create a national and even international marketplace for flexibility that can enable the lowest cost sourcing of flexibility for local and national grid operators, and to give our customers new sources of revenue.
So earning money and changing the energy system, 2 strong drivers for this project. But what's been learned so far?
I think what's really important is partnering with somebody who can assist you. If your knowledge if you haven't got a great knowledge of the area, the assistance factor is fantastic. Once you've assessed the payback period and the energy usage you have, I think going forward it's the only way going forward. It is the future, and I think it's important that everyone looks at it now.
To really sort of try and do better for the environment, underpins everything really, if at all possible, and to get things integrated.
My advice for other businesses would be definitely look at these types of technologies. The EV charge points, the solar, something that we're definitely happy to be involved in and would definitely promote being a part of these different projects for our next generation coming along behind us.
So the households are behind it, and so are the companies in Cornwall. And it seems the place, known for its beaches, pasties and ice cream, could be a dynamic hub for a low-carbon energy future. Priyanka, Shrestha, Energy Live News, Cornwall.